What is up, everybody? Star Wars Dad back for another video. Today we're going to be looking at another new leader, the Maul leader that just is coming out in set 3, paired with ECL. So this is more of an aggressive deck, but it doesn't play like some of the other aggressive decks that are in the format currently. Because of Maul's ability, you're playing more like defensively early, where you're just kind of killing units and getting in for overwhelm damage, and using ECL to just take things out. But it can play aggressively too, just because you have a lot of early powerful units. And so when I was making this list, because of the ability, I was trying to find units that have, you know, 2, 3, at the very least 3 power for the most part, except for Benthic and Obedient Vanguard, but they have cool synergies in here as well, so that you can kind of kill things and get in for damage while you set up your late game, which is incredible in here. So you're doing like, it kind of plays similar to like Kylo Green, I would say, in that sense, but the difference is that there's a lot of new powerful units. You're playing things like B1 attack platform that aren't necessarily like, they're very easy to kill, but you're playing it in here because it has 5 power, so that you can overwhelm something and still get in for damage. So it trades really well. Like, this deck does a really good job of defending against leaders and other aggressive decks. Against control decks, it also does a good job of putting early pressure. So I definitely think this deck is going to be, you know, somewhat competitive, if not competitive. In playtesting, it's been a lot of fun and it's been really good, but all you can do right now is playtest on force tables, so, you know, be that as it may. Like, another really cool thing in here, of course, is the force throw synergy and the force unit synergy, as well as the trooper synergy. So, like, your early game is a lot of trooper synergy, and your late game, or, you know, turn 5 and later, is going to be your force throw synergies. So let's get into the list and kind of talk about it. So your turn 1 plays are going to be like Death Star Stormtrooper and Benthic, or even Obedient Vanguard. Stormtrooper, you know, it's obvious, it's a 3/1. That is a good overwhelm target. It's also just a good barrage target, and you have a ton of good barrage targets in here. Barrage is incredible on this list. Like, you really don't miss your barrage curve very often, and you're always hitting for at least 5, a lot of times 6 damage, sometimes even 7 if you have Relentless rocket droid out, because it gets +2 if you have another trooper out, so you can barrage for 7 damage, which is incredible. So Benthic is in here, a couple of them, just to kind of boost up your red units so that they get +2 and become better at overwhelming your opponents. Obedient Vanguard is in here because it, believe it or not, it already has Raid 1, which is one of the things I overlooked when I was first looking at this card. I originally had it at 3 to try to give the deck more fodder for Count Dooku later, but I feel like 2 is a good number as of right now. But when it's defeated, you can give it Trooper +2/+2 for the turn. So that can be really sweet with a lot of cards in this deck. For one, Phase Dark Trooper becomes a 5/5. And that's really good for that card, because then it makes it harder to kill, and then it's going to get experience and survive potentially against certain things, or at the very least just kill bigger targets. Obviously, it pairs well with Death Star Stormtrooper, making it a 5/3, Benthic making it a 4/4. The B1 attack platform making it a 7/4. I mean, so maybe it needs to be a 3rd copy, but yeah, it's again, it has to, you know, things have to line up for it to work. So that's kind of the reason that I'm just playing 2. But when it works, it's incredible for your troopers. A couple Kylos TIE Silencer, again, that's a good overwhelm target for Maul because it has 3 power on turn 1. Consortium is just, it's ECL, it's a way to gain slot of life just in case we get a little bit behind. It just gives us that that way to kind of subtly stay in the game, as well as just being a good, you know, having good stats at 3/3. Of course, we're playing the 3 resupply and a super laser tech, so that we can flip our leader earlier, as well as find good ECL targets like the Darth Maul unit and Kit Fisto. Both of them are incredible, as well as the Relentless rocket droid. Is just a really great ECL target, as long as we have a trooper out. Then, of course, we're playing 3 Fallen Lightsaber, which is also incredible here. Maul, the leader, flips as a 6/6. Fallen Lightsaber makes it a 9/9 with Overwhelm, which is nuts, while doing 1 damage to all your opponent's ground, which is sweet too because, like I said, you're playing this more defensively. So you swing into the unit, it does the 1 damage, and then you hit for the 9/9 and Overwhelm. So you get to Overwhelm for 1 more damage, which is really sweet. A lot of games, though, because I've already ECL'd and taken out their targets, especially if I've used the Darth Maul unit the turn before, then I'm just going to face with the Fallen Lightsaber for 9 damage. So you can quickly win the game once you get to around 5, 6, 7 resources in this deck. The Maul flip turn is awesome. Again, it gives all of your units Overwhelm while it's alive, which is nuts. Phased Dark Trooper, of course, you know, it already has the ECL synergy, but the Trooper synergy with the Vanguard is really nice. And that's just felt good in here. The B1 attack platform has felt good. That's also really good fodder for Count Dooku, because if you have 2 units out, let's say you have a Death Star Stormtrooper and a B1 attack platform out on turn 3, you can exploit 2 and play Dooku for 4 resources and kill 2 things that have with 5 damage and 3 damage. Obviously, things have to line up. You have to have the units out for that to work, but it's, you know, if your opponent's just going to your face and not worried about your units, like Dooku can come out of nowhere and just clear their board. And the best part is you can attack in first for damage. And that's what I love about Exploit, and why Exploit is a very awesome mechanic that's can really just surprise your opponent out of nowhere. So Relentless Rocket Droid is also really good because it, as long as you have a trooper out, it immediately becomes a 5/5 that you can ECL in and kill Sabine. It's also, I mean, still a good ECL target for a Boba flip, because sometimes they flip on 4 resources, or the same turn that you have 4 resources because they have a resupply or something. So you're at least hitting them for 5. You're surviving against the Boba, and then you can use one of your other troopers to finish off Boba. So that, I mean, Relentless Rocket Droid has been really good. That's one of the reasons I started to go heavy troopers. When I saw that card, I was like, ooh, okay, this card has a lot of potential. The hitting for 5 power on turn 3 with an ECL is really strong. And then it's also just an incredible barrage target, especially if you have a trooper still out, because then you're barraging for 7 damage on curve, which is great. Barrage, of course, like I said, gets better. I mean, with all these powerful units, you know, B1 attack platform, you could barrage for 7. The Rocket Droid, the Darth Maul for 7, the Kit Fisto, you're hitting for 9, you know, and then everything else pretty much in the deck, you're hitting for 9. Count Dooku, I doubt you're going to be barraging a Count Dooku very often, but there definitely is, I mean, a possible situation where you could get Dooku out on turn 3, sacrifice 2 units to go into a barrage for 8 damage the following turn. I think that's a highly unlikely situation, but definitely a possibility. So, I mean, I guess that's a scenario where you might barrage a Dooku. Just gets really powerful in here. The Darth Maul is so much fun. The unit, it's a great ECL target as well. Again, it's hitting for 5 damage, which is great, and the fact that you get to kill 2 units is amazing. It's just, again, you're playing that defensive style of play with the overwhelm damage. If it's already out there, you can use Maul's ability. But it's still on ECL, just hitting 2 units for 5 damage is really strong, just to kind of clean up things and then get yourself set up for the Maul flip turn. Obviously, of course, it's also great with the Fallen Lightsaber because then you're swinging in for 8 damage twice. And you do, I haven't pulled it off yet, but I do think the Fallen Lightsaber will trigger twice. Yeah, because it says on attack, deal 1 damage to each ground unit. So that would be even better with the overwhelm damage from Maul the leader. So you put the Fallen Lightsaber on the Darth Maul unit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but then you're swinging in with an 8-9 twice that has overwhelm if you're using Maul's ability, or if Maul's flipped over. So you're getting to double in for that damage. So I'll try to pull that off and put it in the video. Kit Fisto is great because it has Saboteur. It also, if you have a resupply and you flip, or you get to 6 resources on the same turn that Boba flips, you can immediately ECL and kill Boba. The fact that you can Saboteur and coordinate as long as you have 2 other units, which is very easy to do in here because of how many cheap units you play, then you can do 3 damage to a ground unit. Also, again, that works really well if you're using Maul's ability, but just using Kit Fisto as an ECL target is amazing. Just to come in and blow up a leader or a big unit, as well as, Maul and Kit Fisto have the Force Throw synergy. Then we're playing all the Mauls, right? Both of them are great, and in this deck we want to benefit off that overwhelm, so Maul is a great finisher in here. Savage Opress is something I'm still kind of playing around with. I do like it. If there's a situation where my opponent has more units than me, then it just immediately becomes active and it becomes a great way to finish. Count Dooku, of course, we can play it at 4 resources as early as 4 resources in here. Because of how many units have strong power, it really becomes like an additional barrage. But you can play it a lot earlier. And what's great, again, is you can attack in with those units first for damage, and even kill a thing if they survive, and then bring out Dooku and then kill 2 things. So just really cool. There's been games and testing where I've used Count Dooku to sacrifice a Kit Fisto to immediately kill a Fett's Fire Spray, just to play it at 6 resources and kill a Fett's Fire Spray, and still have a 6-powered unit on board in exchange. So I mean, it's that kind of thing is really cool. The 3rd copy of Dooku's in the sideboard. Just, I think it's incredible in here. Playing 2 Force Lightning in the side because of the Force synergy, and I think if there's any more Force units that are early, they might replace some of these other things that are in here. Also, there is a Force version of this deck that I am working on. I just wanted to show you it. Still kind of a work in progress, but I definitely think that this has potential too, and I've been waiting so long for there to be enough Force units to make this possible. So I do think this is a version where I think Force Lightning becomes a lot more relevant, but still kind of working this one out. Haven't gotten around to testing this one as much, but I would like to get it to a place where I can get Force Lightning in the main board and get it to a place where it feels good, specifically against some of the the strongest meta decks in the format. But still working this one out, but I just wanted to show you guys that this is also a direction that I think you could take this deck. Just needs a little more tweaking, but definitely excited to get the Force version of this deck online as well. But I really like where it's at right now. It's really strong. It's been hard to beat this deck on Force Table 2 when I've tried against other decks against this deck. It just has so much power constantly hitting you in the face. A couple Pillage to go with the Force Throw theme of discard for those control decks. A couple Palp's Return to bring back key units at key times. 1 clone that, I want to test that card out. I think it's got potential. I think it's going to be really great in control, but I think in here it could still be solid. It might end up being Choose Sides, but for now I wanted to try that out. And a couple Crate Dragon. Again, the Crate Dragon might end up being something else. Like it might end up being like Choose Sides or clones if I feel like the Crate Dragon's too expensive and I want to win the game sooner with this deck against those control matchups, which is very possible. Again, this is the first iteration, but it's just been so much fun, and I definitely think it is competitive. And of course, you know, there's going to be adjustments made and potentially more reveals in the next month of cards that get added in here. So I'll kind of do the same thing I'm doing with the Dooku Blue list that I just posted, where I will just continuously update the list in the messages for you guys. Obviously, love to hear your feedback. I know, making decks early can sometimes be, the deck looks a lot different a month from now, but, I just want to start messing around with it. This leader's been really fun, and start getting ideas and start playing with it to see, so that when we get more cards, I know exactly what cards I want to add. I'm going to play a couple games to show you guys, how this deck performs. But as always, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And let's get into a couple games here on Force Table and kind of show you how this deck works. Alright, so up against Sabine Green here, just to kind of show you how this deck plays against Sabine. I think I'm going to keep one laser tech in case I want to get Kit Fisto out of turn sooner. I might just resource it later though. I'm going to get rid of one of these Dark Troopers and possibly a Vanguard. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Force Choke. Just going to kind of go on the defensive first. Okay, yep, Force Choke. Yeah, again, so like we want to play defense early against them, just slow them down, basically take out Sabine and anything else. And then basically once we get to 5 or 6 resources, we just have so many big units coming on board. That's a good card that we can kind of just take over the game. Since they don't have any units on board, I mean, if I stick this out there, it's probably going to die anyways. Let's just take our chances and see if we can find a good ECL target. Okay. Yeah, so that was good. So basically this is the same thing as playing resupply, essentially. We're just going to attack into whatever they play next turn. I'm going to let them take the initiative. I don't need the initiative. More ramping is not the worst thing. Okay, there's that. Go up to 5. And actually, we're going to be able to bring Maul out here, which is pretty sweet. It's the quickest I've ever gotten Maul out. I think we're just going to kill Sabine. And pass, okay. Any one of these is good. I think we're just going to keep Fisto and Maul. Fallen Lightsaber is good here too, but I think because we're so far ahead with the ramping, that we're just going to go in with Maul, get in for 5. Take 3. And we have this game locked up next turn. Even have a Dooku if we wanted to. Which is always disgusting. Yeah, so I mean, there's multiple things we could do here. We could swing in, sacrifice both units, kill both things with Dooku. We could just play Barrage, which is what we're going to do, because it makes way too much sense. Play Fallen Lightsaber, and it doesn't matter who we swing in with here. We're swinging in for game. So that's kind of a good example of what I'm talking about. Let's just play defense, and then once you get to this big unit, it's just too much power. Now they didn't hit me with a Poe ECL or a Wrecker. I mean, obviously Wrecker is going to be the card that they want to see. I mean, and they want to save their ECL, their Poe ECL, or their Wrecker ECL potentially to deal with us, ideally. But then again, we also have the potential to be more aggressive early than them. But in general, this matchup feels good. But I do think, you know, it's kind of like play defense early, then do what I just did here and just kind of completely take over the game. That is the most I've ramped up against Sabine, so you can see how that's even a good idea. Like, that was the quickest I've gotten to the Maul leader. To flip that on the same turn as the Sabine leader is pretty crazy, actually. So that just shows you that that's an alternative. You know, a lot of times you think that resupplying against Sabine is not always the best choice because you want to just like play Sentinels and match their units, but sometimes you know, ramping is a good thing. And again, they did play like a for a cause, I believe, and I think on turn 2, which is stupid, and that's an AI thing. So like normal player's not going to do that. So this scenario is probably less likely because of that. But anytime your opponent plays for a cause, it's a good time to resupply or play a laser tech because, you know, you're getting to ramp up. So on those turns. All right, gonna test out against my most recent version of Boba Green. Okay, no mulligan. I like that we have ramp. I like that we have 2 plays on turn 1. We can let go one of the Kit Fistos. Dooku's not bad as a potential play, especially because we can kill this and play it. Is that likely to happen, that this is still going to be on the board and this? Probably not. But I think, you know, we want to have bigger stuff for them. Ouch. Okay. Well, there you go, because we got rid of one of the force throws. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something. Huh. I think we're just gonna go the laser tech route. I think ramp is always good against Boba, especially because I'm not putting a ton of pressure right now. Okay. That's a good card to find. They haven't shown any ramp yet. I'm gonna let this go. Go ahead and just attack in here. Get up to 5. Play this. Okay. Play that. Okay. It's okay. Yeah, we're gonna take the initial. Okay, ooh, 2 7-foot defenders is not great. Okay, we can kill this at least. We have a force throw. This is actually pretty important. This is important. Fortunately, this dies, which is, yeah, these 2 cards are bad. These are bad. Force throw is good because we're gonna have a force unit out, potentially 2 force units out. I think we're just gonna have to let Consortium go, unfortunately. Okay. Deploy our leader. I totally did that wrong. I should have overwhelmed for 2 damage. That's okay. So now we gotta race them with these big units, which is totally possible. But we're not in an ideal situation against them right now. I mean, we do get overwhelmed here, which is nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Force throw, Benthic, Fallen Lightsaber's pretty good. I'd rather have lightsaber and the Kylo. Okay, so first we're going to attack in here, get in for 4 damage. Does that go straight to face? It should, right? Oh, it didn't? That stinks. That wasn't good at all. Should have just ignored that card completely and gone in for 7. Silly me. Yeah, we totally could have won here. It's gonna be close now. Well, we did. I mean, we just had to swing in once, yeah. So I mean, even with the misplays I just made, we're still fine. Just swinging it for 9. They don't have anything that has 9 power. So yeah. So I mean, again, same thing. Playing defense on the ground. Obviously, 7th Fleet Defenders is not ideal for us. That's one of the harder cards because Consortium just dies. But yeah, I mean, just the Fallen Lightsaber, the power from here. It's interesting that Overwhelm doesn't get in for 7 damage when they have 0 toughness. I guess because it died. So it would have been better just to pass on that in that particular situation. That was one of those weird things that happens. But yeah, still got there. They did have the Maul, which I think it wouldn't have mattered. They would have killed this, and then we just still would have swung in for 9. All right, up against Bossk Blue here. No, I like our hand. I'm gonna keep the Dooku since we can cheat it out. I'm gonna play Force Throw. Disrupt their hand a little bit. Top target's not bad. Benthic. Maul. I feel like I'm gonna try to get in for as much damage as possible here. Plus it also has the red synergy. That we could get in for 7 damage if they don't kill one of these units next turn. Resupply is definitely not bad. Fallen Lightsaber is not bad either, but just let the Dooku go. Okay, well there's that. Yep. I'll take this turn to resupply and try to get to some of our bigger stuff. I don't know if letting the Dooku go was the right idea, but I want to have the Fallen Lightsaber for the Maul flip next turn to get in for 9 damage. That's going to be tough for them to kill at 5 resources. They cannot kill it, actually. Probably going Lightsaber Silencer. Let this go since it's not as strong. He is definitely going to kill that, so unfortunately we cannot do anything about it. To get its trigger. No, he didn't kill it, okay. That's interesting. Let's try to bait out some removal. First choke, okay. It's not a bad card. Entrenched is a card. So this is now a 7/9, so we could kill it and survive, but then he has the ability to kill us pretty easily. I'd rather force him to deal with us. Okay. We have an ECL now too. He's at 7 power. I don't think we need laser tech anymore. Yep, there's that. Okay, we're gonna get in for 9 before he kills it. Okay, vigilance, yep, okay. Staying in with Kylo. And Just get that down by pressure. They have to have a Rival's Fall or Fell the Dragon. Try to get 2 more units down if they board wipe us. We'll definitely let that go with the power. Get it for 7, up to 27. Getting close. Pillage is painful. But we have initiative here, so it doesn't matter now. Alright. So that's an example of just, you know, you're applying so much pressure, you're playing a lot of big units. Fell the Dragon's going to be extremely important in this next set. I mean, if you're playing blue, or even not playing blue, you're going to want to play 3 Fell the Dragons. So far in testing, like, it's just been extremely important. So they had the Rival's Fall, top target, make an opening, but not enough. They didn't get the board wipe. They had Crate Dragons, Snokes. I mean, with Force Throw is so good in here. Like, once we get to that 5 resource turn, the 6 resource, Force Throw just becomes absolutely disgusting. Just because we can target ourselves and discard a card from our hand if we want to take out a big threat. Or disrupt their hand. So another good one. But that, you know, that's 3 different games against 3 different decks that are relevant. I think it kind of gives you an idea of how I think this deck is going to be relevant. For sure. Like, it just has some really, really powerful units that it just becomes too much to deal with each turn. And the fact that you can play defense and still get in for damage is really nice. I don't think I did the best job of using Maul's ability. I need to do a little bit better job of that. Still getting used to things with this leader. I definitely made some misplays against Boba, where I should have just gone face, but it didn't really matter. We still won the same turn, so. But that's the power of Fallen Lightsaber on this card, or just any of these cards really. Like, think about it. Like, any one of them, you're swinging it for 8, 9, 10 power. Like, that's just insane. If they don't have the Fell the Dragon or the Rival's Fall, it's just too much damage, and especially with Overwhelm, you're just killing things while getting in for damage. So you're removing every threat that they present while getting closer and closer to winning the game. So it's a fun one. I definitely think you should try it out. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and, you know, what you think are some potential plays and potential cards that could be good in this. But yeah, hopefully those examples, although it was force table, were still helpful in kind of getting you to see the power of this deck. I definitely didn't play it optimally in the Boba game, and didn't use Maul's ability as much as I should have in certain situations. You know, when you're talking and trying to show a deck, you definitely are more likely to make misplays. But you can kind of see, like, the power that this deck has. I mean, you just look at that bottom row of just power, pure power. Starting with Maul, Kit Fisto, second Maul, the Savage Opress. I'm not sure if that card needs to be in here. Again, like I said, it's a maybe card. Not sure yet. And not sure about Clone. Again, the sideboard is all rough draft. Not sure about Crate Dragon either. He might just need to be more aggressive and lower to the ground, and just have another powerful unit, just to be able to get in for tons of damage. There's a possibility that, like, IG-11 might be a good card in this deck, because it's a 6/5 on 5 resources, so that might be really strong too, just to kind of continue that power around that 3rd, 4th, 5th turn. So still a work in progress, but this is the early iteration. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Any thoughts or cards that you think might be good in here is always helpful. I definitely listen to what you guys say and take your suggestions, because this is a work in progress. So, but as always, y'all have a good one, and peace out.